Hi, boys and girls. I wanted to talk to you before you took the assessment on cougars. I kind of wanted to review with you a little bit, and I also wanted to read the last section, okay? So let's see if we can get through this pretty quick. The last section is a set of poems, which is very appropriate because today is April 1st and it is Poetry Month, and yes, you have poetry to look forward to this month. But for today, let's just take a look at perfection. It says here, have you ever wondered how cats use its keen eyesight and hearing for detecting mice? Have you ever wished you could be a cat napping in perfect contentment from ferocious tigers or timid tabbies? Cats have always fascinated people. The reasons may vary from person to person and culture to culture. There are few animals that have inspired poets as much as cats. As you read the following poems, notice how the poets have tried to capture the particular way cats move and their mysterious nature and their entertaining antics. So the first poem is not a rhyming poem. It's called Tiger by Valerie Worth. The tiger has swallowed a black sun. In his cold cage, he carries it still. Black flames flicker through his fur. Black rays roar from the centers of his eyes. So this is basically talking about his features. If you look at his body, he has those stripes on it. If you look at those eyes, he's pretty fierce. And if you notice those last two stanzas, they really bring out the nature of the tiger, that he's ferocious, and even if we try to capture him and keep him in a cage, we can't take that wild ferociousness out of him. It's still going to be there. All right, our next poem is a rhyming poem, and it is called A Tomcat Is. Night watchman of corners, caretaker of naps, leg rustlers of pillows, depressors of laps, a master at whining and dining on mouse, designers of shadows that hide in the house, the bird-watching bandit on needlepoint claws, the chief of detectives on marshmallow paws, a crafty yarn spinner, a stringer high-strung, a handlebar mustache, a sandpaper tongue, the dude in the alley, the duke on the couch, affectionate fellow, occasional grouch. So if you notice, we've got rhyming words there. We have naps and laps, house and mouse, claws and paws, strung and tongue, and couch and grouch. So that there is a rhyming poem. And it describes the mannerisms of your typical house cat, okay? Then our very last poem is super duper short. Disturb the cat lifts its belly on its back. Basically just describing what happens when a cat gets upset, okay? So I want you to think about the cats, the cougars that you read about in your informational text, and comparing them to the cats in these poems. How are they similar? Well, yeah, both of them have talked about the features of particular cats. We learned about the cougars, how they feed, where they live, what their structure is. In that first poem, we learned about the ferocious tiger, his stripes, his eyes, his features. Tomcat, we learned more about the house cat and what his features are, what his mannerisms are. And in the last one, we learned about what happens when that cat gets upset. What does he do? And so we can say that in both of these, the similarity is that they're talking about the features of a cat, okay? The other thing I need you to know before you head over to that assessment is that in the poems, Perfection, and in the article of Cougars, there's also a difference. And I'm hoping that you're gonna see that the difference is that they're celebrating what makes cats unique. So that's important that you know those two things, okay? And normally we don't have an opportunity, but since we have a lot of extra time, I thought we would take an opportunity and look at these. Besides the fact I know I have a lot of cat lovers in my class, so it was a chance for you to celebrate cats. All right, also before you head over to that assessment, I'm hoping that you remember what the main topic of the story is. Very good, yes, it's all about cougars, right? And you're going to be asked to pick out some of those supporting details that tell you that it's all about cougars. Please go back and look. Sometimes two answers sound the same, but there's always a better answer. But there is one question that I want to make sure I talk about, because every year it gives kids a difficult time, and that is about the teeth. Our story, Cougars, talks about the structure of the teeth, and it goes into great detail. But one of the things that you need to know is that it's suggesting, because it goes in such detail, it suggests that the biology is very complex of the cougar's teeth. Okay, so please remember that. I think that everything else you'll do really well with. Please also keep in mind, who is that natural predator of the cougar? Yep, it is the wolf. Okay, so the cougar needs to be aware of the wolf. I did not do vocab strategy this week because it's something that you know, and it's, you know, when you're writing, that to use stronger words than weaker words. So instead of saying something is big, using a word like gigantic gives your reader a better understanding of what big is. And so I felt that that was something that you are aware of, and I didn't want to make you do that vocab page by yourself, and I couldn't find anything else that I thought was engaging. So at some other point we will go ahead and address it, but I feel like we've done it once in class or twice. And whenever you're doing your writing, many of you are trying to use those better adjectives. So we'll revisit that in a writing assignment in the future, okay? All right, so today's lesson is pretty short and sweet because you've worked very hard all week, and I will let you go so that you can go take your assessment, and good luck. Remember, you're only taking it one time. All right, talk to you later.